Subscribe to the Donnie Houston podcast, man.
What's going down? It's Dat Boi T, the Screwed Up Essay. We live right here, H-Town, Texas, Donnie Houston podcast, man. Tune in, subscribe, all that, man. Drop a comment, slow lane.
Yeah, man, it's going down. It's Donnie Houston podcast. I am Donnie Houston. Check it out, man. We got a special guest, you know what I'm saying? Represent H-Town, man. Been putting it down for a minute. And, you know, the dope thing about that's unique about the city of Houston, you know what I'm saying, and Texas, man, is that like we got this really, really huge Hispanic following, but also community in the rap game, you know what I'm saying, and you know, from SPM to, you know, so many others, man. And listen, this guy, he's been putting down 10, 15, I'm getting ready to find out exactly how many years, but I know it's been a minute, you know what I'm saying? Screwed Up Essay, man. That boy T, what's going down,
what's going
man?
down, man? I appreciate you having me here, first and foremost, man. It's an honor to be here, you know what I'm saying? I follow your podcast, and you know, I love what you do for the city, you know what I'm saying? Like this the whole setup, everything you got here, like I've seen the growth, you know what I mean? Like dope, keep it going. And now I'm here, man. I made it, you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate you, man.
For sure, salute.
Man, so what's going down, man? What's new with you?
Oh man, everything. Just trying to stay consistent, man. Just still working, still putting out projects, shooting videos, doing shows on the road, and you know, just trying to keep it moving. You know, H-Town, Hustle Town, just trying to keep that hustle going. So.
Yeah, like I said in the intro, I was trying to figure out. I know it's over 10 years. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's 15, but like, when did you actually start coming around and getting into the game? Like,
I dropped my first official project that came out on mainstream platforms in 2007.
Oh man.
So I mean, it's going on like maybe 15 years now, maybe a little more than 15 years.
As far as 20 mark, man.
Dropping, yeah, it might be closer to the 20. I would say like 18 if you get into like mixtapes and just me, you know, like dropping freestyles and stuff like that on cassettes back in the day. So just, you know, rapping, but you know, officially dropping music on platforms as an official artist to where people could download my stuff, like 2007 will be like when, you know, the whole label and everything kind of started. So
so what is it about that like, when'd you start getting into music just in general? Like, what drew you to rap?
I mean, just as a kid, I've always been a fan of just music. It wasn't just rap, it was just music. Like I just always loved music for some reason. Like growing up, it wasn't even like rap music in the house. It was like Tejano music. Like that's what the family listened to, or that's really what was cracking at the time. Like Tejano was hot in like the 80s and 90s, like crazy. So that's kind of what, you know, my parents and the uncles and aunts and, you know, everybody was jamming. But then growing up, like my dad is from Houston, my mom's from the Bay, she from San Francisco. So like she was the one that kind of like when we'd be riding in the car, she'd have it on 97.9 and like playing the rap music, you know, like this was like early 90s, like Dre, Snoop. Like,
that's what you first remember.
Yeah. So then it kind of got me hip to the rap, and I really started listening, and then I started hearing like Ghetto Boys, all that coming out of, you know, Houston, and then the screw tapes. And then once I heard the screw tapes and the freestyles and all that,
that's what pulled you in.
I fell in love, and that's what made me want to rap and freestyle. Like I just wanted to freestyle like them on the screw tape. So I bought like the boom box where you could like press record and like rap into it while the tape's playing. And you know, I had a Talk Boy. We was on the school
Talk Boy.
bus.
I had a Talk Boy. Yeah.
I still got mine. Like I still got the Talk Boy tapes. Like
I was gonna buy one on eBay just to have one.
Oh yeah, they up there now. They up there now. But just doing all that, and then it kind of like just kept growing and growing into really like, all right, I'm gonna take this serious because people really like, you know, like messing with the music and stuff like that. So
and what side of town were you on coming up?
I'm originally from East End, 2nd Ward, like right across from the trade. We were right there by the coffee factory off of Harrisburg, you know what I mean? So like that was kind of where I was born. That's where I was raised. I moved out to the southeast, like Hobby area, like Broadway, Belford, Monroe, like all that area. So that was kind of like my middle school days, and that's when I really got closer to the screw when hearing the screw tapes and stuff like that.
What year you came out of high school?
I graduated 03.
Okay, yeah, we run the same age.
Okay, so like middle school, like getting on the bus, you know, just hanging out with the homies. We'd be like, hey, I got this tape, or he'd be like, hey, I got this tape. So we listen to the tapes, because back then you ain't know what was on them. You know what I mean? Like even at the screw shop when you pulled up, it wasn't the way they got the
it wasn't no track list. You just get your tape
you
and
just
whatever's
pick
on
whatever the name
there.
of the tape. That's what you pick. So we would like buy the tapes and then sit there and listen. You know, I'd buy like 4 tapes. Homie would buy like 4 tapes, and we listen and see what songs were on them and stuff like that. So, and then the freestyles was on them. So the crew was like, "Damn, what's up?" So we started just freestyling like them and stuff like that. So that's where all that kind of influenced, everything that kind of came with that.
But then, so. Because, I mean, like you say, screw tapes and all that, it wasn't really too many, like, Hispanic, well, it wasn't none for us H-Town till, like, SPM started coming up. So, like, what effect did that have on you when you saw this guy come up and then he becomes, like, larger than life, bro?
Well,
like,
the first time I ever met or seen SPM perform was all just like an accident, you know what I mean? Like, my dad was into the lowrider scene real tough. He had lowriders. So me coming up, I had lowrider bikes. So I had a lowrider bike. There was a car show coming to.
I used to really want a lowrider bike, bro.
I got a few.
No shit.
I got a few. Yeah. They fun, bro. They fun. They fun to build. But just like it was a car show right next to Gallery of Furniture on the north side of Houston, and it was just like a lowrider club throwing a lowrider car show. And I was like, hey, I don't remember how old I was. This was like 95. 94, but I was like, hey, I was like probably like 10 years old. I was like, I'm gonna put my bike in this, I want to put it in this car show. It was just a little parking lot, nothing even crazy, but I was like, my bike clean enough, I'll put it in. So while we there, that's when SPM was there. I didn't know who he was at the time, but it was like one of his first ever concerts, performing in front of a crowd. And this was when he came out with his first cassette, Hillwood. And everybody at the car show goes to the concert. So in the parking lot, he was there, and it was a Mexican. And this was the first time I seen a Mexican rapping. I was like, damn, that's a Mexican rapping. So that was kind of, I had heard on the radio a couple songs, but for the first time seeing in my life, like a Mexican rapper on stage rapping in front of me, that was different. And he went hard. You know what I mean? Like, if you really listen to what he was saying, he went hard. So after the car show, I went up to his little booth, and he was like, the cassette and a signed poster for $5. And I was like, bet. I have $5. I gave him $5. I bought the cassette. He signed the poster. I took it home, and then that just kind of like opened up my mind even more. Like, damn, Mexicans could do this too. You know what I mean? So,
did you at that time say, okay, I might want to be a rapper, or that was just opening the idea of Mexicans rapping?
I was already rapping, like just kind of like just playing with the freestyles, but not like rapping, you know what I mean? But seeing that opened my mind to like, I never knew like Mexicans could really, it wasn't even a big platform that he was on, but it was at the car show. He was the only one there performing.
People watching them, it's a thing.
Yeah, it was a thing. Yeah. So, that kind of like inspired me. So, just fast forward years later, still messing with the music, that's when it kind of took me further into like, all right, I'm gonna make this a career. But that just all happened by accident. Me being at that car show, without him performing there, that's how I got to know him. Bought his first tape. I listened to it when I got home. It was jamming. And then when his next project came out, right after a couple years later, in '98, he dropped that Hustle Town. That's when he really blew up. And I told you I was staying right there off of Hobby, right off of 45 when you exit Monroe. There was a Soundwaves right there. And he had his Hustle Town album release party there at that Soundwaves. I lived right there in that neighborhood, so I pulled up. And this time he walked in, everybody's just packed, they're going crazy. Now he's on stage with the crew, and he's pulling out wads of money, throwing it out to the crowd. He doing it, you know what I mean? And that just kind of blew my mind even more. He pulled up in the limo, like, stunning.
Real rap star shit
In 1998, you know what I'm saying? So, after that, I was like, I'm gonna keep doing this.
So when did you first start kind of like recording your stuff and like coming around, meeting people, in the H and kind of doing your thing? Like,
man, I would say like the early 2000s, like 2000, right around graduation. Because when I was in high school, I would leave high school early and I go to the studio and record. Like, I think I only had like a couple classes in high school. I go to like noon or something like that, and then that'd be the end of my day, and I go to the studio straight after that, up until all the way when I graduated. And that was me just dropping little freestyles off instrumentals, like pull up. I think it was like $20, and you pick a beat, and then you could drop a freestyle on it, and they put it on a burn CD, and take it with you or whatever. So that was kind of my introduction. My homie owned a little store. The little CD store, and that he had a booth in there. It was just a small little spot, but that was like my first introduction to actual being in the studio and laying stuff down. But he kind of put me on game. I seen kind of how he did it and all that, and I ended up just saving up and buying all my own equipment and setting it up at my crib, and just after that, the rest is history. I recorded 24/7, day and night. I would wake up out of bed, turn on the Pro Tools, and record until it was midnight, 1, 2 a.m., go back to sleep, and I did that for months and months and months.
So what is does the thing with Lucky Luciano and all those guys, and meeting those guys and the Screwed Up essay, how do those things fall in time?
Lucky was about this time when I'm in high school. That's when I first heard Lucky, and he had a song called Candy Toys, and it came out on they used to drop little hood screw mixes and or slowed mixes and put them out. So I jam them and have all the new stuff on them, and I heard it, and that was the first time I heard him, and he went hard on there. I was like, man, who that? And then I found out it was him, and we ended up linking up, and we recorded. I remember what was that song? It was that Shoulder Lean. Remember that Shoulder Lean? Okay, so this was at that time that song had just came out.
2006, yeah.
Right, and we got the instrumental to it, and we redid it. We called it Polder Lean, and that was the first track that me and him ever did. And then after that, I guess he fuck with me. I'm from the South Side, he from the North, so he was kind of had his own lane. I'm over here on my side doing my own thing, and we end up yo, let's do an album together. So we end up doing 3 albums because the first one was so successful. And that's how he kind of, came into it, and I started messing with him and people from Dope House and Chingo Bling and, all that whole group. Because that was probably the era
when they owned,
they was on, from them times. So,
so you fucking with some people they on top of their shit at this time, and you just getting into this game. For sure. Man, so when does the Screwed Up essay thing come around?
The Screwed Up essay thing came around from that was really messing around with Al D. Al D kind of gave me that name. You the essay, right? You the Screwed Up essay, and it just kind of stuck with me. You know what I mean? So I put that on my album, my very first album that I dropped, Screwed Up essay at the top.
What year was that?
That was 2007 when I dropped that first project.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah, for the first one.
So how do you meet Al D?
I met Al D through a friend that I had who was kind of in the music business, around, kind of just on some networking, yo, you should mess with him, or hey, you should check out this dude. So he had kept telling Al D about me, and we finally got the introduction, and me and Al D chilled every day for years, every day, working. He was working on his album at the time over at BCD. And I was engineering, working on my own stuff. So he's like, oh, you know how to work so so I ended up getting all my equipment out of the crib, and Al D had ended up opening his own screw shop off of Broadway and Lawndale, Screwed Up Records and Tapes number 4. So I took all my equipment over there, and me and Al was in there every day, just working. He was working on his album, I was working on my album, and we was just side by side. And then I would jump on his project, he would jump on my project, and we just kind of we were every day, you know what I mean, just putting in work.
So when did you start seeing okay, I got a buzz and the following? How did that start happening for you? Because you got a pretty nice following, bro. Been having this following
for sure. The way I started doing it was before I even had anything on platforms. I would be at, I said, I had my setup at the crib, so I would record tapes at the crib, 15, 20 songs of me either rapping on instrumentals, or homies that made beats would throw me beats, so I'd mix them all up and put out these mixtape series. It was called What's Really Good. And I'd sit at home and I'd burn hundreds of CDs one at a time on my Mac tower, and I'd write on every single one of them my name. And every day when all the high schools got out, I would go to all the high schools and I'd pass out my tape to everybody. So as soon as they was walking out, I was throwing my tape, hey, check me out. And then, I kind of I did that for a while, and I got some feedback, but I really didn't it really didn't catch my attention until like a couple years later. My younger cousins were in high school, and they like, yo, cuz everybody in high school talking about you. They jamming your CDs, and you know, this, like even stuff my cousins ain't heard yet. Like, they was like, man, I heard this song, you know, off the CD. And so I was like, man, I'm gonna start doing that. But then I did it more official. Like, I actually got them printed with the print of my name and packaged them up, had the artwork, you know, wrapped them up. And, you know, I started selling them like that. And, you know, everybody just started asking for them. And then this got right into that point when MP3s were coming into the game, like digital downloads. That was new. Like, people were doing out the trunk. That's what we were doing, out the trunk, driving to every city. All right, this store is going to buy 100 CDs. This store is going to buy, and that's what we're with the merch, everything. So then Chingo Bling was the one that put me on the digital download game. He was like, yo, you know, I got this, you know, new digital distribution. We could get our music on, people could buy it online and download it anywhere. You know, I was like, damn, okay. So I ran a couple of my first projects through there, and I figured out, you know, like people were downloading them. I was getting a check every month, like, hey, you sold this many downloads, and that put me into the whole streaming game. You know what I mean? And then at this time, I was already like dropping a couple of videos on YouTube of freestyles and just music, or in the studio, or like vlogs. I was vlogging like way before vloggers. You know what I mean? Like, I was, since high school, I'd walk around with a camera and, you know, record stuff. And so it just kind of stuck with me. And a lot of the stuff I documented, like a lot of this stuff I have documented on video of, you know, studio sessions and just, you know, stuff that I've done in my career and people I've chilled with and, you know, done music with and stuff like that. So after that, then I was just like, I'm just gonna record and just keep uploading music. So
do you have a manager at this time? Like, what's your team looking like?
I never had a manager or a team.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I've always did it. It was just me. Like, I had to learn. Like, I had a couple people that like were engineers, so I would go record. But it got to a point where it was like, yeah, I could record you, but it got to be like next Tuesday, and it got to be from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and like, I need to record every day. I'm trying to record, you know, consistently. So that's when I set up my own stuff. And I'm telling you, for all the months that I recorded, I probably knocked out like, I was dropping like 8 projects a year. You know, like every year I was dropping like 8 CDs, 8, you know, whatever it was, floating chop mixes, or, you know, compilations or projects with other artists, stuff like that. So that's all I've been, you know, just stay working. So even like this year, in this past year, I probably dropped like, I think this next 2 projects is gonna be like the number 10 project for this past year that I've dropped.
Wait, 10 projects this year?
Yeah. So I've dropped 5 regular and 5 floating chop projects. Every time I drop the project, I get the floating chop done by either OG Ron C or DJ Red, or, you know, somebody to chop it up. So yeah, I probably dropped that many just in the past year.
So total if you're dropping them like that, what's your total? Like, how many projects do you have out right now?
Bro, I don't know, maybe like 50.
Get the fuck out of here.
Maybe more. Like,
and they stream.
If you go on iTunes right now, I probably have like 1,000 songs on there, like 30 albums. You know what I mean? At least, you know what I mean?
People going
Singles,
and they checking, they listening to everything.
Oh yeah, everything. Even YouTube, like YouTube is crazy. Like, I got like over 50 million streams on YouTube. Like,
has anybody tripped you out? Like, man, I can't believe this person listening to my music, or I can't believe these people over here in this place listening to my
all
music.
all the time. Like, so once I started learning the demographic game and the analytic game, I started logging in and seeing who's listening, what cities, all that. My number one fan base outside of Houston is Dallas. Like, Dallas showed the most love. Every time I go over there, like, shows be crazy, sold out, meet and greets be crazy. Like, I didn't go to Dallas for a long time, because to me it was always on some like Houston versus Dallas type, you know. But there was like, man, you got to come. I had my boy DJ Hollywood out there was like the biggest DJ on the radio at the time out there, and I ended up linking with him. I drove to Dallas for the first time. I linked with him, and I didn't know him. He didn't know me, but he was like, you know, I pulled up to the club. He was DJing at that night, and as I walked in the club, all these people were coming up to me, like, stopping me, taking pictures, like, and he's like peeping, like, damn, they know you out here? And I'm like, shit, I don't know. This is all new to me too. And in the building where he was at the club, it was 3 different clubs in one. You walk in and you go in like 3 different clubs. So he's giving me a tour. Yeah, this where I DJ. This the hip hop club. This the Mexican club. This the, you know, whatever, techno or something like that. So he takes me into the Mexican club, and we walk in, it's straight Mexican music. They cowboy hats, cowboy boots going in, right? I'm walking through there, they start coming up to me, like running up, hugging me, wanting to take pictures, and he's like, bro, and it's tripping me out and it's tripping him out at the same time, because
this your first time.
This my first time ever touching foot in Dallas. You know what I mean? This the first place I go to go meet this DJ when I'm barely getting into the city, and all this starts happening.
How long were you doing it before you started moving around?
Man, I would say maybe like 3-4 years before I actually like, yo, I'm gonna leave Houston. You know what I mean? But I was already on the road, because like Lucky would be like, yo, I got this show out here, pull up with me. You know what I mean? So I'd fly with him to different cities or whatever. So I kind of already was touching different cities outside of Houston. But as far as me, like, yeah, that's kind of what took me, like, once I got to Dallas, and I was like, yo, after I seen Dallas and the love that I got and the reception that I got and just, you know, everything there, I was like, yo, I got to go to every city. So after that, I started trying to just travel everywhere and hit every city I could. And every city I did go to, there was fans, and it surprised me. But not to go into that direction, when I was looking at the analytics, you could really pinpoint down to the person's house, like their street, the house of where they're listening to your music from. And I zoomed out all the way onto the globe, and it started popping up like islands. Like there was islands like in the middle of the ocean, and it's like they jammed this song this many times. And you have to really, it's like if this was the whole United States, it was just a tiny dot in the middle of the ocean, but somebody was jamming my music. And not only that, like Russia, Germany, Poland, I mean, everywhere, down to Mexico City. I mean, it's everywhere that is outside of Houston just amazes me, just because it's the power of music, it's the power of working, being consistent, and just sticking with it. You know what I mean? Doing it genuinely and being able to do it for this length of time and still be doing it to this day. You know what I mean? Like, I still got shows like almost every weekend. I be out of town in all these little cities, and it still amazes me. Like, people want me to meet their aunts and their uncles and their grandmas and come to my house, and I've like autographed babies. You know what I mean? Like, it's been crazy. Like,
I say autographed babies. No shit.
Yeah.
Damn, T, what the fuck you got going on, man?
I got people that I autograph their parts of their body, and they run and go get it tattooed on them. Like, everything kind of, just stuff like that amazes me, because I never thought the music would go that far. What
is it about? Because it was a clip going around with Bun. He was talking about how supportive like Mexicans are when it comes to Texas. You know what I'm saying? But then you're being a Mexican rapper and receiving that.
Right.
What is that thing?
Man, I don't know. Like, Mexican people, to me, like they really. They don't just want to come see you perform. They want the T-shirt, they want the hat, they want the they're gonna buy the merch, they're gonna buy the VIP, they're gonna want to meet you, they're gonna pay for the ticket, they're gonna pay for your picture with you, like, whatever it is, like, they're gonna support, and they support all the way. You know what I mean? It's not let's buy a ticket, go in and see them, and then leave. Like that, and that's what I've noticed. Like, every show I've been to, every meet and greet, every just every I've done every car show. I've done the Forgiato Fest, the dub shows, the lowrider shows, the WeGo tours, the Texas Rap Festivals. Like, I've done it all, and it's always been just mad love. And it ain't just the Mexicans. Like, I got a huge like black fan base. Like, a lot of people, like most of my homies, be hitting me up, man, we jamming you, like. And then there's like Asian people, and then I even have like I said, like Russian, like people, like foreign people that jam my music. I know
we fuck with you for sure.
Yeah. Bro, it's but it's crazy to be a Mexican and get that type of love from everybody. You know what I mean? Because nowadays, when you watch the news and look at the way they try to portray us and stuff like that, and it just, we ain't all like that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just judge a whole group, a whole race, a whole ethnicity off.
Do you take that personal?
I mean, I take it personal when I get stereotyped, or when people act a certain way towards me or around me, then I know that it's for real. But I mean, genuinely, 99% of the time it's love. You know what I mean? Like, I've always had love from everybody growing up. I've always showed love, show respect, help people out, put people on, like, network people. Like, I'm going to Dallas, and like, there's artists in Dallas that don't fuck with each other. You know, like in Houston, I don't fuck with him. Or nah, I don't fuck. I'm in Dallas and I'm like, yo, you need to fuck with him. You need to, and I'm now like all these people in Dallas that didn't fuck with each other, now they're fucking with each other, calling me every day. Hey, yeah, I just work with your homie. And these are people that were like, you know, not, you know, just. So it's like,
these
man,
are other Hispanic artists, or these are just rap artists in general?
Both. Like, like not even just artists, like engineers, producers, like everybody. You know, some people be, oh, nah, that dude act funny or whatever, but it's like, bro, come pull
just
up, come chill with us.
Yeah,
Let's, you know. And then after that, it's like, whoa, he cool as fuck. We chill, you know. Now they making moves. Now they getting money. Now they, and it's so for me to leave my city, go to a whole nother city, and to be connected dots like that, like that shit goes a long way. Like I feel, you know, like a certain type of way. Like I have a certain type of respect for them to be able to, you know, take my advice and be like, all right, I'm gonna pull up and see what's up, because I know, you know, when I call people and the phone ring, they know I don't ever call on no bullshit. Yeah. Like it's always gonna be business. It's always gonna be something official. It's always gonna be a play. It's always gonna be, hey, you need to meet so and so. You know what I mean? Like I've connected so many people here in Houston. Like it's crazy. You know what I mean? So
how do you feel? Because you know, it's like a I don't know if you call it a renaissance or what it is, man, but it's like a lot of Mexican rappers on top right now. You know what I'm saying? You still got yourself doing it. You still got GT Cars doing it. You still, you know, Chingo's doing his thing. He's doing comedy as well, but he's still dropping, you know, Baby Bash. But you got that Mexican OT. You got Peso. You got, you know, Bo Bundy. You got this one, that one. Like, how do you feel about all that? Because now it's the thing, man.
I mean, shit, this is what...
Doe Man, you know what I'm saying?
This is what I've been fighting for this whole time, because it was at the time when that's all it was. It was just me and GT Garza and Chingo Bling and Lucky Luciano, and you know, but at the time that it was just us, we fighting to get these people to listen to us and take us serious, and you know, put us on these shows and put us in these award ceremonies and put us in these write-ups, and like you yourself bring us to these shows and stuff like that, like us too. So I mean, like I fought for that. Like I was plexing with people back in the day, like radio DJs and all that when they would put out these lists of top whatever in Houston, or have these big award ceremonies for the rap artists in Houston, and it wouldn't be not one, it wouldn't be not none of us, none of us would be invited in it, you know. And I'd be on there talking, you know, on Twitter or Instagram, or reaching out directly like, what's up, man, why you ain't include us? Or, you know, where the Mexicans at? How come Mexicans don't rap? We're not included in the... So it kind of like now, you know, now it kind of opened doors for a lot more people to come in the game and get recognition and show love. And now you're seeing everybody going up to the radio stations and getting interviews and stuff like that. But like, we had to fight hard for that. You know what I mean? Like, put ourselves on the line. Like, people are like, chill, you're gonna get blackballed. You're not gonna be able to get your music on the radio. But it was like, if I don't do it, who's gonna do it? And it's just more years are gonna pass when they're not gonna show us love. So somebody got to do it now. Somebody got to stick their neck out and fight for the, you know, in the present time for the future. So I mean, I feel that that's what I've done in these past years. So now that right now it's the future and everybody's shining, they getting love. You can't open up your phone or Instagram now without seeing a Mexican rapper or them being on a flyer or at a show or having a meet and greet. Like it makes me so happy when I open up Instagram and I see Peso live here this weekend, Cap G live here this weekend, GT Garza here this weekend. You know, like everybody getting love now. You know what I mean? Like everybody shining, the Mexicans getting money. Like it's, you know, I feel proud. You know what I mean? That's what's up.
Yeah, well, man. Well, I mean, you've been doing it, man. What's next for you, man?
I mean, I'm working on a couple other side projects aside from music. Like I'm working on movies and like short films and just you know, my merch. I got my merch, Slow Lane Clothing. So
is this it right here?
Nah, this ain't it. This my boy Deep Space Clothing. Shout out to my boy Mario. Laced me up with this. This some new Astros that he just came out with. But
yeah, I was gonna say, you got that in XL because that's hard. I need that.
I got you. I'm gonna have them put you down. Yeah. But I got my own clothing line. If you go on slowlanestore.com, like it's crazy. Like I got everything from AirPod cases to watches to oh, you merch for real, not just shirts and shit. Shirt, bucket hats, bags, backpacks, everything. Every phone cases. Like, you know, you go on there and you'll be on there for a minute scrolling through all the items I have. So check that out, man. Show me love, support, and then, you know, just the different just different, trying to have multiple streams of sources of income and revenue, stuff like that. So I try to have my hands in like different things and side projects that other people were working on. They'll be like, yo, T, we got this idea, would you be down to be a part, or stuff like that. So just different stuff that just keeps me occupied and working. You know what I mean? Like, I can't sit down and not do nothing. Like, if I'm at home, I'm constantly doing something, you know what I mean? So, and especially not having a team, I gotta respond to emails, I gotta answer calls, respond to texts, and a lot of people, sometimes I don't right away, get them back. They feel a certain type of way, but I mean, I'm just one person doing it all, you know what I mean? So it's harder, but I get it done, and I just continue to work, and as long as they keep calling and want to book me on shows and put me on these flights to travel around, like, I'm gonna keep doing it. And making music is nothing. I do that every day. I'm in the studio like,
man, I'm about to see you on a pack, man. We go to do a little project or something, man, if you're down, bro. I've seen some beats, do some shit,
nothing,
man.
Yeah. So I'm with it, bro. I'm with it. I'm trying to work with everybody. So anybody watching this, anybody tuned in, holla at me. Let's get it.
Yeah. Well, man, you want to give your social media out, man, before we close?
It's Dat Boi T. Follow me on everything. It's Dat Boi T. Subscribe to my YouTube, subscribe to Donnie's channel, man. Support the podcast, and I appreciate you having me again.
I appreciate you coming through, bro.
Coming out here to tell my story, and hopefully I come back again and we
for sure,
another round. So.
For sure. Hell yeah. Hey, man, it's that boy T, man. Listen, man, I'm always honored to have guests come through that I've been always hearing about, you know what I'm saying, and never getting to really sit down and learn the story. But hey, bro, you been out here making waves, man. Like I say, screwed up essay. I remember the first time I saw that, I said, "What?"
Yeah.
I said, "What?"
That was a lot.
This was at a car show or some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "SUE, screwed up essay." I was like, "Oh shit," you know what I'm saying? But bro, that shit stuck with me.
And to get the love and the support from the Screw Shop,
because it was an official logo.
And it the Mexicans loved it because we jam Screw too, so it kind of was like gave us our own piece of it, and man, there's people all around that got Screwed Up SA tatted on them and on their hands.
Bro, you talk about some branding, bro, like incredible branding with that shit.
Like, people even bootleg my shirts, like the Screwed Up SA shirts. They're bootlegged everywhere. Like, people try to make them. They ain't as clean of the quality like mine, but they do it, and just for them to do it, I mean, they're like that. That just shows, like, went a long way thus far. So shout out, just shout out everybody who's ever just listened to one of my songs.
Already, right, man. It's Donnie's podcast. I'm Donnie Houston. That boy T. Hey, man, whip out of here.
Yes, sir.
Donnie Houston.
Subscribe to the Donnie Houston podcast, man.